Thank you so much, Lottie. Yes, this is and should be the closest game that we've had so far today, especially when we look at the two seeds that are competing right now. The analysts have put it perfectly, right? NaVi, what are they going to be like compared to the other big teams? You've got a lot of pressure here on zMightys.
A lot of pressure and not a lot of fond memories of LAN as of recent, right? I know a very disappointing performance from Kansas City, but there's a lot to be excited about as NaVi fans, as NaVi players. Redemption. You're not going to play against the same quality of teams that you were playing over against at North America, but more importantly, you made a team change, and since then, it feels like you've got some momentum behind it.
Yeah, and I think momentum is going to be an important factor, is something that Onset was saying about Jim. He's one of those players who does feed from that momentum that's being projected by the rest of the squad, but to get there first, you really have to have a hot start. And you heard during the interviews, I mean, Glory was saying we've had pretty good scrim results against NaVi. They've been very close games, and he's not wrong. Over the last couple of weeks when they've been playing against each other, it has been hit or miss, depending on who takes what. Seeing that series layout, I think it's a very good opportunity that Blackhand have here to take down a NaVi roster in this best of 5. But that being said, in the last competitive game they had in Pro Series, NaVi did take the victory. They will have that confidence going into it.
Yeah, there's a reason why we think this game is going to be close, why Blackhand has such a good seed coming into this tournament. But for NaVi, all the eyes are on them, right, Dan? And the big thing for me here is how are they going to start this tournament with zMightys? How is he going to find his footing on land in a big tournament environment? It's a very young career, very early in his career, and often things can get out of control very quickly. You're not able to play at your best, so how quickly can he find himself comfortable? We're hopping into game 1. It's going to be Aquarius CTF, and I think this is a great opportunity for NaVi to find their footing in this tournament, because typically this one goes the distance.
That being said, in the most recent scrim last week, Blackhand did beat NaVi 5-3, so they know how to capture flags against NaVi, but it's a matter of doing it in a LAN environment, in a competitive environment. Let's see whether Blackhand can take the game here against NaVi.
All right, let's start it on with the young superstar in zMightys. What kind of an impact can he make early for NaVi? He's already up pink. This one should be an easy kill. Unfortunately, the melee just not close enough, but the shots rain true. He's found himself a camo as well. Slays in the hands of NaVi to pair with it. So map control, camo in zMightys' hands. This is a phenomenal opportunity for the boys.
But it's about what you do with this camouflage now. zMightys knows there's a lot of responsibility. He's trying to give information, just needs to avoid these grenades. Has to stay alive at this point, especially now he's seen Kimbo go down.
You gotta know those nades are coming from the spawners up towards the pink side. They're not gonna pull it just yet. They're gonna slay once more. zMightys gets the kill. Another one goes down as well. But so much fire coming into him, and unfortunately, he's the guy that's trying to run the flag there. You want to see him stay alive, but that flag, it's still on the move.
It's moving. 3 were dead for Blackhand as well, so Foxy should be able to get this a considerable distance. Just has to try and dance around a few grenades, but Jimbo's doing work on the other side of the map. It looks like they've got into a position where as long as they get one more kill here, it should be a flat cap.
We talk about the veteranship needed for NaVi to succeed. Foxy making a veteran play there to stop running the flag, stay alive, even finds a kill. That's NaVi going up 1-0 early now. He does go down, but that's a phenomenal start for NaVi, a cap in the first minute.
And if we learn anything from scrims between these two teams, it's that flag caps will happen. We will see a lot of them. This could be very back and forth, unless suddenly, when we get into a LAN environment, NaVi just come out of their shell and turn into a different team. And we know they have that capability, right? We've been waiting for NaVi to step up, to be that team that we've been expecting them to be. And perhaps this is finally going to be the good showing we've wanted.
And look at this, even with NaVi having 2 members down, zMightys is going to be able to get that flag almost to halfway. A wise decision to stop pulling it. And with that, if he can find a slay, keep this flag alive, they can go up 2-0. zMightys with phenomenal damage onto a first, finds a second with a beautiful grenade, bottom dynamos. Unfortunately, he is going to get taken down. The flag is reset, but zMightys doing just about everything he could there.
Yeah, nice movement from zMightys as well. Very aware of where other people were. Had tabs on 3 different players, and he had a damage output on all of them as well. That's what you want from a teammate, an aggressive teammate, to making sure they are doing that damage. Jimbo's got another camouflage, so that's 2 for 2 here for NaVi, and he'll be looking to try and do a little bit of damage here before he gets a flag ball potentially.
They touched on it on the desk in the analytics department. Foxy, he's been having a great time with zMightys as his teammate, and already up to 7 kills. Unfortunately, Jimbo's going to go down to Foxy as well. So the NaVi push, it subsided. Blackhand keep this at a 1-0 game. They're going to be able to get map control for what feels like the first time now here on Aquarius CTF. They need to figure out ways to weather the storm because NaVi have come out hot.
Blackhand have done very well, Wes, though, with their grenades off spawn. When they go 3 or 4 dead, from the fridge side. They've been able to bank those nades off the top and onto the flag, which is where NaVi have really struggled because they find themselves one shot. Here's those grenades again off spawn. Mysta being able to take down Jim. NaVi are doing well to get into the base, but they just have to face a barrage of nades when they try and escape.
On the bright side, though, Dan, look at how aggressive NaVi is being. We always struggle with saying NaVi doesn't play fast enough. NaVi always takes their time, right? This is a different NaVi so far, right? Most of these combat loops have gone down in the Blackhand base. This shows me that they're picking up the pace a little bit. I love this out of them. Jimbo on the flank, he's able to find one. Or it's Kimbo, I'm sorry. Picks up the dynamo grenades and wisely gonna just try and stay alive. Not playing too aggressive, right? Understands the situation perfectly, and I love the fact that he's going to be able to just hold the middle of the map.
And a lot of that aggression does stem from the new addition of zMightys, who's been saying that. He can just be that little bit of extra oomph they needed to push them through, to take those risks. Having that new young talent, ever since he got to the finals of the Kansas City free-for-all Mighties, he demonstrated that he can do it on the biggest stages.
All right, Mighty's with another flag in hand already. Multiple flags he's been able to pull, get the objective going. So not just a slaying presence for this NaVi roster. He is going to get one before getting taken down. They are going to be able to hop the return is Blackhand, and I believe they're going to be able to get that return, but once again, it's just so difficult. They actually get a touch too, Dan. Jimbo able to fly in there at the last second, get that touch, keep that flag alive, and now with multiple members of Blackhand stuck in the closet, this is going to be a difficult one to contest.
Not only a great heads-up play from Jimbo, but the hold from Foxy just constantly peeking. Now Kimbo going to finish off this run. Will get taken down because of a back smack. 2 and 2 alive at the moment, so this is going to be a really big kill. Whoever gets the first entry, as it were, and it's going to be Mysta, gets a double. And now Blackhand, it's all down to EbbY to try and save this.
Jimbo with another big touch before he gets taken down. EbbY's with his hands full. He's got to get another one. He finds at least a double kill throughout this loop, and because of it, they should be able to get this return. Unfortunately, nobody on Blackhand in quite a position to get that return. They are going to get a few slays in their favor. Kimbo, the last guy alive, needs to play his life, and now Blackhand had the first real opportunity at a flag run.
Kimbo had to let that one go. Oh, almost gets thrusted behind, but Kimbo knew that he had to just let it go and ensure that he gets a kill to help the rest of the team. Dynamo could take the rest of the damage, but certainly Blackhand doing a lot better now to stem this NaVi attack.
I love how Kimbo played that too, slow. He knew he was the last guy alive. That flag was dead. He's able to get a kill and stop any real opportunity for Blackhand at the time. Unfortunately for NaVi fans, that Blackhand flag still on the move right now as they've been able to inch it towards their closet. Unfortunately, that was 4 dead momentarily. It looks like NaVi's going to be able to get this return, so Blackhand, unfortunately, your first real opportunity, it gets shut down. NaVi, we know they're good at defense. It stands strong here.
It was a good attempt by Blackhand, but unfortunately the spawners of NaVi too good with their grenades as well to be able to shut that flag move down. We really are seeing the importance of grenades and how effective they can be in the right hands, but that's good teamwork to ensure Kimbo got taken down, but on the other side, 3 dead for Blackhand.
Kimbo's my guy to watch for NaVi this tournament. He's one of the quiet players so far on this team throughout Infinite. He's a guy that I know when he's playing on fire, he's capable of such great things. Mighty with another flag on the run. And I love the fact that the young gun is playing the objective as well. His positioning has got to be on point in order to do so. And look at this, with one more kill with the guy in their base, they should be able to cap it. But as I say that, 3 dead for NaVi, and it looks like Blackhand are going to get a counter cap opportunity here.
Blackhand get the return. Mytys was the last player remaining. He got taken down. Now EbbY can run it and also pick up the dynamo. So this is the best chance they'll ever have at capturing a flag. You've got all of the pieces to the puzzle. Now you've just got to put them in.
Two players to deal with from NaVi in their base. Are they going to let him just run it in? EbbY just wisely gets the flag cap, and now NaVi, although they get the kill, it's too late. The game's tied up. They get a flag pull of their own, but will it amount to anything? We'll have to see.
Lunny now on the other side of the base does get a little bit of a run going, but Kimbo is there to stop him. That heat wave has done so much damage regardless of whose hands it's in, and now Glory has a big responsibility here. You can't go too desperate for the flag, otherwise you will find yourself dead, but that's a good return.
Good positioning there to play around the corner to where they can't see you. The nades not good enough for NaVi this time around. The pistol, not good enough for Glory. He's forced to trade in a situation where you think he's going to get that kill. Maybe open up some opportunity once again for Blackhand, but I love the fact that although NaVi started out hot, Dan, Blackhand are right back in this one and they've tied it up.
Yeah, they didn't let it dishearten them at all, Blackhand. Very good response. I think they know they are on a close enough playing field with NaVi. There's no way that they think that NaVi are the better squad here, and I think that speaks volumes for the potential this Blackhand roster has. You think about what NaVi have been able to achieve historically in Halo, and Glory just about gets that one done. I thought for a second a couple of those shots might have whiffed.
The entry pick still for Glory. Although it wasn't pretty, the job got done still. Unfortunately, his flag's on the move. It's Mighty once again pulling the flag. It's got to be the 10th flag run for Mighty in this solo game. And wisely, Mighty gets this flag to halfway and continues to drop it and try and slay. A couple of members of Black Hand are coming off respawns. The NaVi should have better positioning in order to try and advance this flag even further. But just as I say that too, Foxy tries to do it without slaying the last two. They're able to get the kill, and we'll see if Black Hand can get the return here.
zMightys is still alive. He was the one who ran that flag originally, but Lunny,
what a nade.
What a grenade that was. The placement absolutely impeccable, and now we're going to see them get the return. Black Hand have got a response for NaVi every single time here, Wes.
The money nade from Lunny gets the double onto the camo player, shuts down the run, and now Lunny with the flag in hand has an opportunity with 3 dead for NaVi to take the lead here. 3 minutes left as well, Dan, so if this goes in, NaVi's going to feel a lot of pressure. Lunny
makes the runny, but you've got to walk out of those grenades. You've got to make sure they don't do too much damage. Also, someone has to be in the base in case you go down, but it's going to be Black Hand taking the lead here against NaVi. I said they've done it in scrims. They knew they had the capability to come back here against NaVi. Despite an early start, 3 minutes remaining, Black Hand have the lead.
And if you're taking a look at the stats, NaVi were so far ahead in the slaying category halfway through this game, but since then, Black Hand doing such a phenomenal job to get some kills, get some map control, and you've seen how that's transitioned in the score. They got another flag on the run. I believe there's one player to deal with by the flag. He's actually going to take the low route. EbbY not able to trade that one, and that was a massive kill from Mighty's to potentially keep this at a 2-1 game.
That game could have been over right there if the third flag had been on the run, because you know NaVi's heads could have well dropped because of it, but they get the return. They still have a couple of minutes left here to work with, and they need to just make sure they slay out Black Hand before they make these runs. I know Mighty's been making a lot of runs with the flag, but they've left themselves in 2 versus 2s, but here comes Kimbo.
What a heads-up play to check the overextenders there. They catch 2 players from Black Hand front their base. Unfortunately, Mysta, Glory, they find kills. Not only that, they got a flag on the move, and Kimbo, he's left the flag top. Dynamos, it's going to be returned. Kimbo in such a terrible position from that point on, and because of it, now we're looking at a 3-1 lead with 1:50 on the clock. NaVi, although they started off hot, the pressure's on.
Camo's just popped. Who was able to grab it? Can it be the difference maker? NaVi have to speed everything up. It is Mighty's, does find another. But these flags have to start moving and grooving for NaVi, and they need to find more success. Black Hand can afford to play a little bit more defensive. They've got a 1 flag cushion that they can work with.
It's a difficult place for Mighty's to be in there. He's going to be blocking the pink spawns momentarily. Mysta was caught out in the closet, but they weren't able to get that kill. It's up to Mighty's to find the first pick. Unfortunately, it's traded from Jimbo. Lunny also going down. So NaVi with numbers could be able to continue to advance this flag. They need to, Dan. They have to be able to punch this one in. And there's 2 members to deal with here for 2 Foxy. Can he get a touch on that flag? Unfortunately, he doesn't really go for it. Instead, chooses the dynamo grenades, and that gave enough time for Black Hand to get the return.
And suddenly that clock is becoming a factor here. NaVi, they have to move, but off spawn, Kimbo's already being challenged by EbbY, finished by Glory, and Black Hand know all they need is map control at this point, and they'll be going 1-0 up in this series.
Look at the teamwork out of Black Hand. The assist for Lunny and EbbY here, 15 and 12. Absolutely showing out to create the difference so far here in game 1. And this has got to be Black Hand taking game 1. If you thought this was going to be a close series, the fact that Black Hand able to come out the way they did, take game 1, Dan, that is a phenomenal start for them.
And I've seen flags move quickly, but 20 seconds for 2 caps on Aquarius, very unlikely at this point, especially with how well Black Hand are defending. Look at this from Glory, backing out of the fight, re-engaging once more just to delay that push so Foxy can't get a touch. And I think Black Hand are starting to realize they are going to be leading this series.
Absolutely, Black Hand weathering the storm that NaVi threw at them early on. 2 Foxy was as hot as anybody to start that one off, slowed down, and it was all Black Hand from there on out. Man, what a game 1, what a series we have in store. I wondered if we were going to get a good one on the broadcast today. Just, you know how polls go sometimes, Dan, and I'll already know that this Black Hand team, they're going to make this one interesting. It's up to NaVi to respond.
When I saw that series layout and I saw Capture the Flag Aquarius and I was diving into the scrim results, I was thinking, hold on a second. there is definitely a chance here for Blackhand, and their scrim successes on Capture the Flag Aquarius have translated into LAN competition, and that is always a very good sign for a team. Anyone who is not flopping is suddenly, when you get into that competitive environment, means that they should still find the same successes on other maps that they were enjoying during the online environments as well.
Now you're in a tough situation if you're NaVi. You're going into a game 2, which is almost a must-win if you don't want to cause the reverse sweep, force the reverse sweep. And Catalyst Slayer, it seems like one of those game types that's a little bit more difficult to control for just about every team, right? You get off to an early lead, you gain momentum. I feel like on Catalyst, with some of the weapons, some of the equipment, you can really start to run away with this. So NaVi needs to come out hot here in game 2, Dan, and I'm very concerned about the opportunity that they're going to have here in this series if they don't.
And the desk were in agreement that NaVi may be not so comfortable on Slayer Catalyst, excuse me. I'm all over the place as we watch replays from Capture the Flag Aquarius, but I'll dive into that a little bit more as we watch back some replays, because it was the incredible start from NaVi, and maybe we were thinking, okay, perhaps these scrim results aren't going to pay dividends, and maybe NaVi are going to come out hot, but the response from Blackhand was astounding.
Absolutely unbelievable, and I think somebody we got to point out is Glory, right? We talk about how big of a superstar zMightys is going to be, how much individual talent he is, the up-and-comer that he is in the scene. Well, with every new Halo game, it's about halfway through the season, you start to recognize some players that are going to make the next 3-5 years a legacy for their own. And Glory, he's been known to be one of those young talents, and you wonder how good he is. Well, that game 1 showed you anything. Glory can play with some of the best in Europe.
So 2 quick things. Originally, Strongholds was what we assumed was going to be the series layout, and Onset said it's a good thing King of the Hill is not featuring. Well, there's news that King of the Hill will be featuring. That could be very bad news for NaVi. But first, they have to play Slayer Catalyst, and a good news for NaVi fans, they did beat Blackhand recently in a scrim 50-42 just a week ago. So they know how to take down Blackhand. They will be somewhat confident, but at the same time, after losing that game 1, suddenly that pressure floods all the way over to the boys in black and yellow.
Look at that, Lunny, just, we can do this. I remember having those moments as a player where you win game 1 in a series where you're the underdog, and you look over at your teammates and go, we are the better team. We can actually create this. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going. We're hopping into game 2. It's going to be Catalyst, Slayer, and this one's a tough one for NaVi. It's not necessarily their best game type, and they're going to have to figure out a way to have success, and I think it starts with that skewer, with that sword, but more importantly, overshield control typically dictates the pace of the game. It's, with the recent buff, Dan, just such a massive opportunity, but here we go. Glory, the man of game 1. What can you do for it? And look at this, Blackhand sending multiple bogeys front their base, trying to compete for overshield, while NaVi decided to expand towards the wings.
Foxy will choose to burn it. No, he stays on, manages to do a little cha-cha slide and stay on the map, but gets shut down eventually anyway. But it's a 3-1 lead for Blackhand, and already we're seeing them show similar aggression to what we saw at the end of Aquarius.
Such a frustrating moment there for 2 Foxy, right? You're taking so much damage, so much attention. You think you're going to be able to win the break. Well, no, Blackhand picking up right where they left off at the end of game 1. They've got the lead. It's still narrow as 7-5, but Jimbo with the skewer can change that one. The game slows down for now.
This is where you want to get into those tight angles where you can hit these shots, but he puts the skewer away. He doesn't even take the shot in the end, and frustration does sit on the face of Jimbo ever so slightly there, but at least the teammates were there to get a couple of frags their way. And this is the player you want to have a skewer. Kimbo and a sniper rifle is a good news for NaVi here.
All right, so NaVi, as the game slows down, yes, they're down to 1 kill, 8-9, but they have skewer, they have sword, and what should be map control here on Catalyst. How are they going to look to push and expand this sandbox in their favor? Unfortunately, players getting traded is not what you want to see when you have that kind of power in your hands. A one-on-one is not what you want to take either. Jimbo Kimbo, they get taken down.
We'll be seeing EbbY now on your screen having the skewer to work with. And a fantastic chance to try and extend this lead. Top middle can sometimes be a really good position to try and catch out people as well. I think as this map develops, people realize what a power position top middle can be. You do expose yourself, but at the same time, you can catch people off guard.
Yeah, and overshield's coming up in 2 seconds, Dan. We'll see how they're able to position themselves. Unfortunately, EbbY just taking damage from multiple players. Backs down, it's an easy kill for NaVi. That is exactly the kill you need when you need it, because overshield being up, could be exactly how you swing momentum back in your favor. Foxy looking to be aggressive with the sword now, and he's gotten behind a player. He's able to use that player to get out of dodge as well. So the lunge, not only does it give him a kill, it allows him to stay alive in that situation. And now a bait and switch opportunity for NaVi here, trying to push back towards the middle of the map. All 4 players for Blackhand to try and deal with, and as Foxy gets the killing spree, he's created the opening.
Yeah, they're desperately searching for Foxy as well. Eventually they find him, they take down the sword, but NaVi have been able to take a lead here, 15-13, and Blackhand slightly on the back foot, will retreat back into one of the bases and reassess how they want to push. Lunny, the last player remaining outside, does get caught out, and perhaps he didn't get the memo that they were going back into the base.
Yeah, Glory trying to stop the pressure that was coming from NaVi. Does a good job to back a couple players down. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to deal with Mighty's unless he hits some great shots. Can he 1v2? Kimbo finally finishes him, but the damage has been done, and they're able to trade out successfully in a position that they had no business trading out, Dan.
Spike nades and sword for EbbY to work with, and that should be Foxy firmly getting eliminated, but he might use the repulsor to stay on the map ever so slightly. Does get shut down eventually. I wonder whether we'll see similar grapple plays from what we saw Shady demonstrate to us a little bit earlier. Under, over, Pepsi Cola. Doesn't matter where you go with it, you can really surprise your opponents, but 20-18, everything's slowing down once more.
Let's hop in board with a listen in here with NaVi. See how they decide to play this. The map is slow, but Jimbo, he finds the first hit.
I'm good, I'm good.
OS in tech.
Good new sword, boys. We play both sides.
No more left. He's a skewer grapple left.
Okay.
Not get the grapple.
Oh,
He did
I
not get the grapple. Let's make a play for this OS here, boys.
What are they out of, boys? So deep.
I'm going to get left for it.
That's one left, that's one left.
Okay, one shot. Not on top, big kill.
That's a skewer
Watch
grapple.
your top Ivy, boys. Just
On the west, on the west.
I'm gonna...
OS in top Ivy. OS in top Ivy. You see him both?
He's still there. I got repulsor,
Yeah, he's coming to me now. I think he's chasing me.
Yeah, he's chasing you. I got shots. He's almost weak. Nice.
On your road, on your road.
One guy behind us, one guy behind us.
I'm here with you.
One shot.
One on their boots.
And that breed's weak. See where I spawn. I spawned out, boys. I spawned out.
I got sword.
Let's go. We got numbers here. We should have numbers here.
Breed's weak. Get back
Watch
out.
an absolute top. Watch absolute.
Kimbo can't quite get the pancake, costs him his life. And as a 2-2 trade continues to keep this game so narrowly close, just 4 kills separate the two. As they cross the 28 marker, Foxy just narrowly missing the skewer, but does get away with his life. A good job by him to stay alive, but unfortunately, for some reason, decides to just try and gather a little bit of extra information and pays for it. Now just a 3-kill game.
Really haven't seen that skewer being put to good use yet in this game, and if someone does start popping off, it can definitely make the difference in this, not just the game, but the entire series. I mean, it would do wonders if Blackhand could take a 2-0 lead going into King of the Hill. 28-26, make it suddenly 27. And I really do think when the skewer is in someone's hands, you've got to be taking these close corridors. You've got to be taking these avenues where it's very difficult to even miss the skewer from a close distance.
Look at all the players' stats right now, just so close together. You can tell trades are just being so efficiently done on both sides. Unfortunately, trades, they're not coming through for Blackhand here. Jimbo finds a double, extends his kills to 10. One is given back, but with a 5-kill lead now, you wonder if NaVi can start to extend this to get a little bit more comfortable. Overshield's coming up in about 15 seconds, and if they can get map control with a couple of kills here, they can blow this one wide open.
Well, zMightys has been able to pick up the sword here. 34-28. zMightys does go down though. Glory takes him and will take the sword off of him. And now that means that NaVi, even though they had that lead, they need to make sure they get those kills, which they do. 37-29, and they should be able to pick up a dead sword, and maybe even this overshield.
Yeah, perfect timing for the perfect shots from Jimbo there. Trying to compete for this overshield. They are going to be able to grapple it to themselves. I believe it was Foxy, and that's a big job by, it's actually Kimbo, I believe. And with that overshield, that's going to allow NaVi to just headbutt some of these players. They're going to push right in. The overshield's gone, but they've extended the lead. Now all of a sudden, Dan, you blink, and they're up 10.
And look how NaVi are just flying. They've got that 1 kill. They've got the player advantage. They're all moving as a unit, moving together base to base to try and isolate some of these fights. EbbY is the next victim. Kimbo joining to making sure they're not spread out, that they're not giving easy 1v1s. And Jimbo also has a sword. So all of the good things are put into place now here for NaVi. They just need to make sure they don't throw this one away.
NaVi have done such a good job to control the power so far on the map. And because of it, they finally blew this one wide open. The trades are no longer coming through for Blackhand. You can feel in the gameplay itself that NaVi know that this one is going to be over shortly if they continue to be aggressive. Blackhand can't even come off spawn without being pressured. Jimbo wisely gonna back up for a second, ping the sword to his teammate as well. Great use of the new system with that ping. Doesn't want to pull the trigger once again and tries to use the repulsor to get out of dodge. It works. Unfortunately, he is gonna leave 2 Foxy behind, but better to just lose 1 than 2 and give this skewer away, because the only way Black can come in and take this game is almost, I hate to say it, Dan, but perfect Halo, and that's not gonna happen. You'd have to think NaVi are too experienced to let something like that slip through their hands.
It does seem like NaVi have put a lot of work into this map. As you heard the analysts say, it's been a struggle for them in online competition, maybe in some scrims as well, but when you put the time in, when you start to realize how to play it, it suddenly gets a little bit more comfortable for you, as long as you're moving together, not flanking too much and not necessarily leaving too many players to take 1v1s. And as you say, an 11 kill gap surely should be too much for Blackhand. However, it's always possible, and you never say never when there's players like this. Suddenly it's 45 to 36. And as you say, 3 dead, you move in. They had an overshield, and it's 45-37.
It's a clean wipe from Blackhand. They're starting to make a little bit of cuts to the score here. They get a few more. No one able to trade on the side of NaVi, and now all of a sudden, you're starting to get a little nervous. 6 kills. It was once up to 11, like you said. Still a little bit of room to play with if you're Blackhand as well. 45's not the worst score line. When you get up to about 48, that's when it's so difficult to not trade out on the damage and to stay alive. But Blackhand still feel like they're in this one for now. 46-40. Will they be able to spot some of the players hiding around these corners? There's a player right below them. Are they going to check? And that player, it's Jimbo with sword.
Jimbo can do a lot of damage here with the sword, and he knows it. He can't get caught out, though. Does get seen. Just about slices 1. And that is a very important 47th kill, because it gives information. Mysta, though, gets another. 47 to 42. It's still a 5-kill game. And NaVi need to backtrack. They need to make sure they stay together, because now they're going to be worried about this sword and what the sword can do against them. It's still a losable game for NaVi.
Jimbo doesn't get that kill. We're looking at a 46 to 43 game, and it was a much different story. So a big kill from Jimbo before getting taken down. A very smart play from him, but now EbbY with the sword is going to wisely play this corner. The stick, is it going to come through?
Where are you going?
Jimbo. Unfortunately, EbbY just too aggressive, pays for it with his life, and unfortunately right now, you're not able to trade kills back and forth like that, EbbY. 48 to 43, and you nearly need to figure out a way to stay alive in every situation. 2 Foxy finds 1. The repulsor's going to displace Mysta into a terrible position. NaVi do go all 4 dead. As I say that, 49-47.
Overshield's coming up in 3. Are Blackhand brave enough to go for it? With the new respawns, there's no way they go for it, so both teams are going to be baiting this overshield, and NaVi surely would be the team who can take that risk. Mysta, though, gets it because of the grapple. 49 to 47, and he's getting aggressive.
There hasn't been a collapse like this since Jersey's suntan lotion. And this would be one for the history books if you're Blackhand, if you're able to turn this one around. Checking corners, Lunny finds 1 in the kill feed with the skewer. Unfortunately, Jimbo finds the last one. And although NaVi made it as difficult as possible at the end, Blackhand made it as interesting as they could. They couldn't pull off the incredible potential upset there, and now we're looking at a 1-to-1 series.
NaVi wiped the sweat from their brow.
Jesus.
That was too close for comfort, but the bad thing I'd say is that that's going to give so much confidence to Blackhand still going into this game 3. Not only did they take game 1, but they almost had the comeback of all comebacks here on game number 2. And that's how Catalyst can go sometimes. Even the most comfortable of games, all it takes is a sword or a skewer, even an overshield, just making it a very swingy game type. It's constantly a 4 versus 3, a 4 versus 2, and if you do collapse correctly, it's a very difficult game to get back into.
What phenomenal control Blackhand was able to have towards the end, to be able to continuously get kills without trading. You just wish, if you were on the side of Blackhand, that you were able to establish that formula a little bit earlier and with a few less mistakes. But if you're NaVi, you tie the series up, you don't feel great about it. You're going into a live fire King of the Hill match, which, Dan, you said wasn't a strong one. What are some key factors going into this game 3 that can help NaVi potentially gain some momentum? Because I feel like any momentum they would have gained from that game 2 was almost removed completely.
So one thing we can at least focus on is that if Slayer Catalyst was traditionally a bad game type for NaVi, but they've been able to pull through here, maybe when we go into King of the Hill, there might have been that extra practice time for them as well from the scrim results coming into LAN, that they might have something a little bit different. But when we look back at this game, you'll slowly see that scoreboard get an incredible gap between these two teams. And the fact that Blackhand even made it close is unreal. And it does show that they have the ability and they have the calmness to assess a game and get back into it. And I think that that was my worry with this Blackhand roster. When I look at these 4 players, I think who's going to be that leader? Who is going to step up? And I have a feeling that Lunny has taken that role as one of the older and more responsible players on this team.
Sword-on-sword action in the replays. We barely missed that one, but just so unfortunate. The sword was so impactful. But this decision right here, you have to think EbbY regretting that one as he finds the first kill. He could use the grapple to potentially get out of dodge. Instead, he tries to re-engage with multiple members, and that death is almost one that determined the outcome of the game. As it was just a 3-kill game at the end, a 2-kill game, 50-48. NaVi was up 45-33 at one point, Dan. And I've never seen a comeback of that magnitude in my life, and that would have been a story for the children around the fire back at home, but not one we get to tell.
I remember my day when Blackhand came down from 13 kills.
Let me tell you.
But I tell you what, going into King of the Hill live fire, the last 2 times these guys have scrimmed, both times it's gone in favor of Blackhand, a 4-2 victory and a 2-1 victory. So it's not been a stomp, but I think Blackhand will be looking at this saying, wait, this series layout is starting to favor us a little bit. NaVi are looking a little bit shaky on some of these. If we can go 2-1 up in this series and ensure that we, at the very least, get a Game 5 Slayer to potentially win this, then tell you what, that is going to put a lot of pressure, not just on NaVi, but zMightys. Think about how he is feeling as a player right now. His first time really playing on main stage with this squad. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him, and he has to answer the critics. He's done very well so far, but that can very easily collapse as a newer player, a younger player. But I'm expecting him to respond well here.
This is a big game 3 for all of NaVi. Not the performance they wanted the last time they played on land. The first showing here, maybe not exactly as strong as we would hope, knowing that NaVi are in the conversation of contenders to take this entire major. We're going to be hopping on board with zMightys as we jump into game 3, and it's already Glory getting the better of him once again.
The first hill, always a difficult one. Do you go for hill? Do you go for overshield? It's always a little fight over towards hill. Sniper going to be in the hands of Mysta, and he hits the body. But now that overshield is where all the focus, all the attention's going to be. No one stepping foot in the hill right now, because instead they want this overshield.
Yeah, if I'm Blackhand and I'm not in a position to really compete, somehow they actually are. They're able to sandwich this overshield. Everyone denying that hill, and this is an opportunity that kind of both teams could have taken advantage of. No one even on that side of the map right now. Somebody could have been at least getting that bar to about a third of the way. But it is going to be Blackhand that win not only the battle for overshield, the battle for snipe, and it looks like that the first one's in the hill as well, so everything going great for Blackhand as of yet.
Mysta with his back to A there, maybe just not quite on top of spawns. That's something that teams are slowly getting better at, is realizing where spawns are going to be happening, where the focus is, how to block those spawns successfully as well, but not quite connecting with that sniper bullet. So for all that, for that overshield that they were able to achieve, it's only a little bit of hill time they've got so far, Blackhand.
Yeah, I'm not going to micromanage too much, but I would like to see a player in the hill during that combat loop right there. Blackhand won the majority of the slays, but don't really have any score to show from it. And now it looks like NaVi's going to have the opportunity. Kimbo finally starting to wake up, hits the no-scope, jumps in the hill, and they've taken the lead early in this hill.
If Kimbo starts firing, NaVi become extremely scary as a roster. He's so good with any sort of sniper in his hands, and that's why another snipe does run out of ammo, but it's done enough to get damage. EbbY just about wins that fight. zMightys, the last remaining player, does at least get the kill, but now all 4 dead for NaVi. And Blackhand have done so well at being able to recognize where NaVi are pushing from and collapsing on them.
This battle for overshield is Blackhand is in the hill. If Blackhand can do a good enough job to just trade out, they'll be able to rack up some significant time. Look at that hill bar moving across the halfway mark. Yes, NaVi may get this overshield, but if they don't put it to use, and they don't even get it, Dan. They don't even win the battle on that side of the map. So somehow Blackhand able to split their resources almost perfectly to get a significant amount of hill time, get the second overshield as well. And that's the second overshield of the game going into Blackhand's hands. And we'll see if they can break the short setup of NaVi here. Mysta is going to be that first player that goes down. The repulsor is going to make Glory's job a little bit more difficult, but he finds a way to get the kill. and it all of a sudden looks like Blackhand are the favorites to score this first point.
The 2 versus 2. Mysta has to win this one. Will win it. It's a double, can make it a triple, but Ammo won't allow it. So instead, very good just to back off and make sure he gets a little bit more hill time. But NaVi are on the back foot. They may at one point just decide to give this one up and start to proceed to think about that next hill. But no, because they spawn over towards Garage, they try and fight it, but no one touches their toes inside, and Blackhand take the lead.
So NaVi did such a good job in game 2 of getting overshields, acquiring a lot of the power in the sandbox. They gave the first 2 overshields to Blackhand. With that, Blackhand able to transfer that first hill point into their favor. They're now in the lead for this series as of yet. They may be tied 1-1, but they've got a little bit of momentum. They got EbbY, who's been alive all series long, and let's see what he's able to do now.
Can we just talk about EbbY and the way he's sitting? He's just so chilled right now. He looks like he's taking a little bit of a lean in back of the chair. I wish I could play video games like that rather than destroying my spine as I lean forward. A very relaxed posture indeed, and maybe that speaks volumes for this Blackhand roster and how relaxed they look right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about finding a way to be comfortable in an environment like a main stage with $100,000 on the line, playing for the throne of Europe. Blackhand looking very comfortable so far in this series on their first appearance of main stage. Look at this, the hill, it's already over 80% at this point. And if they can go up 2-0, NaVi are gonna have to do so much work to try and get back into this one, and I'm not even sure they're capable of it the way that Blackhand are playing.
Jimbo with the overshield does have to try and take on the world, does enough damage to at least help the rest of the team get off spawn, as 3 were dead for Blackhand temporarily. But Blackhand know how close they are to this hill. They've got a solid amount of pushes to work with, but Jimbo will do his best with this heat wave.
Lunny played this situation so slow. We saw him hiding in observer mode. He's able to find one, and that's all of a sudden Blackhand with a little bit of numbers advantage. It's up to 2Foxy to try and deny some of the pressure from Blackhand, and he's not enough. He gets taken down, and now all of a sudden, Kimbo, last guy alive, top tower. What can you give me? A kill is big. Can you stay alive? Unfortunately, it's just too many members of Blackhand once again to deal with. Did he buy enough time is the big question. Unfortunately, again, NaVi with 2 dead, make it a third. The plasma pistol finds its way home. 3 dead for NaVi. Blackhand almost a for sure guaranteed second hill.
You can see why Onset was a little bit worried about NaVi having to play King of the Hill in this environment. They do not look as comfortable. It seems like Blackhand have put in a little bit more practice, and in all of these individual engagements, they look more comfortable as well, but the PP missing is never going to be a good sign.
The plasma pistol doesn't come through, and that could be NaVi's opening. Unfortunately, the heat wave, it goes through a player, finds a double with 1 shot. 3 dead for NaVi. They had a full setup opportunity. Blackhand had to rotate into it, and they broke that setup immediately. NaVi on the brinks of going down in this series 2-1. As Blackhand, you can feel the momentum riding and then the confidence in this young Glory player. 16 kills to his name and a lot of objective time behind it.
He's the last player remaining, but he says, you know what, I'm prepared to fight the world right now. Eventually does go out because he knows Overshield was about to come up, but perhaps overexposed himself ever so slightly, and NaVi should be able to get an overshield as a reward. And now maybe NaVi can use this to try and break back through. You've got to get 1 point on the board here. You cannot afford to go 3-0 down.
No, you can't. The clock will start to become a factor as well. He's going to get melee. There's so many players to deal with from 2Foxy. He does a good amount of damage. Is it enough for zMightys to get the clean up? zMightys with a triple kill on screen. It's a one-on-one, but guess what? It's going to favor Jimbo. He's in the hill, and this is the first highly contested hill of the game right now. Jimbo has to win this 1v1. The map gets reset. NaVi get the close spawns as well, so they should have a favorable advantage to try and score this one.
I think what's amazing, if you look at those scrim results, there was a game that finished 2-1 between these two. So a lot of those hills were scrappy during that scrim, but surely NaVi have enough time here. There is going to be one last attempt, one last rally from Blackhand. NaVi find themselves going 2 down, but a final step in from Foxy will secure that point. And thankfully, NaVi are on the board.
NaVi are going to make this one a game here in game 3. The hill, it's going to move towards the overshield spawn, and 2Foxy, he's going to opt to try and flank around, but he gets snipped out. Fortunately, his teammates are able to pick up kills. Good distraction. But the last 2 members of Blackhand, they both find kills. It was Kimbo, the last guy alive, and Blackhand, they were in the hill.
Their toes are dipped in the pool. And I tell you what, this is going to work out for Glory because he's got a heat wave to work with, and the rest of the team are just running rings around the rosies when it comes to that hill. You've really got to use that overshield platform to your best advantage when you are trying to get as much time as possible.
NaVi haven't done a great job of breaking setups as of yet, but they get the first 2 kills. 2Foxy's going to give his life for the third, and as a member of Blackhand spawns, NaVi should be in a good position to try and compete for this hill, and it's in a perfect time. Dan, overshield coming up in 10 seconds. This overshield could dictate the game because I can almost guarantee who is ever able to activate it will win this hill.
zMightys gets the double. And Blackhand find themselves 3 dead, and overshield should go in the hands of NaVi, will go, so if you're correct in your thinking,
Stay in the hill.
then maybe NaVi will get this hill point, but Kimbo does decide he's going to leave the hill.
Spawners from NaVi's are able to jump into the hill, but every second you got to think is crucial for them trying to get back into this one. They get a couple of kills, and they're aggressive with that overshield. I love the play by that, but their hill guy, he's by himself. Kimbo realizes that he's able to double back. A beautiful predictive nade on the Keydor allows Kimbo to find an easy double, and this should be the point going into NaVi's hands because the respawners are back tower. They're in no position to compete. Blackhand are going to have to reset, and now all of a sudden, it's tied up 2-2.
And as predicted, that overshield pays dividends, and NaVi, they tie this one up. And now suddenly we go to the most horrible hill on this map. It's top middle. Tower control is so important. You need someone to be spawning you over towards that tower, and you get such a vantage point being able to watch across top middle.
This is such a big moment for NaVi right here in this series. They've got all these Blackhand players stuck towards green exactly where you want them. If the hill is top middle, you're able to gather a significant amount of time, Dan. And like you're saying, this is a very highly contestable hill. It's very difficult to try and stay alive in it with grenades, with so much pressure from different angles. But 2Foxy with the snipe and the heat wave top tower could create so many openings for his team. Unfortunately, none of the shots are raining true. He's forced to drop in the back of the tower. Kimbo is able to subside some of the pressure coming to him, and Blackhand, they lose 2 members. 2Foxy, his job is just to stay alive right now.
Blackhand did very well just to get NaVi out of the hill, and even though Foxy's doing an amazing job at holding tower here, he really needs the rest of the team to jump in that hill, which they do, and now he's got 2 jobs to do. Not only defend top middle, but also think about defending that overshield. So a lot of responsibility here for Foxy.
Doesn't have a battle rifle to play around, so these shots, they have to be precise. The heat wave, it's a pretty far distance shotgun if you ask me. But is it enough? He opts to push off tower, and that's the perfect play from 2Foxy. You can tell he wants to pick up a BR. He wants to compete for that overshield, but his teammates, they get the kills. He relocates the tower, and NaVi should be able to acquire this overshield, get back in the hill, and I can guarantee that they're going to take a 3-2 lead here with 1:39 left. We're going back to the green hill, and now all of a sudden Blackhand maybe not as in control of this series as we once thought.
So much better from NaVi. They've woken up Kimbo with 23 kills, make it 24. And that's what you need from someone, just to take this game by the scruff of the neck and start to realize, hey, we're a higher seed for a reason. We've beaten these guys before. Let's show why we deserve to be considered one of the top teams in Europe. They find themselves 3-2 up now. They've got a little bit of time that they can work with this in the hill. Blackhand, how do they respond?
Yeah, it's all about making that clock hit the 0-0-0 mark. If you're NaVi here, you're not too concerned with getting into the hill. Every second that ticks away is a second in your favor from NaVi. Jimbo knows this wisely. Gonna be playing the map control game, opting to flank across top middle. He spots a player in the hill. He needs to at least just neutralize this as his teammates are coming off respawn. Doing a good job to try and stay alive. A melee could be big for his teammates to finish that kill. Unfortunately, EbbY, he gets away with his life. And now all of a sudden reinforcements for Blackhand are going to make this a highly contested hill and a real opportunity to tie this one up.
Blackhand just running around like headless chickens at the moment. They need to stabilize ever so slightly, try and get some positions to hold off this NaVi push.
That's a big kill.
That's really going to help. Good work from EbbY and
my.
Lunny working in tandem. 2 up on both sides. Foxy in a position to do some damage here from pillars.
And just getting the kill onto the hill player is so important, but Lunny turns the corner, the bait and switch, the teamwork from Blackhand. It's been here all series long. It gives them another sign of life here. But Kimbo takes them down. He gets into green. He's able to hop into the hill himself, and they're going to try and compete for this one. 47 seconds and counting down now. Blackhand really going to start to feel some of the pressure, and Jimbo with the most crucial overshield of the series yet, able to acquire it right before the members of Blackhand get there. He's able to trade it out, and now that's a win condition off the board for Blackhand.
And Kimbo did God's work earlier as well, fighting the heat wave with the commando, then drop swap to the BR. 33 seconds left for Blackhand. They've got to get in this hill. They are able to do so. Responsibility now lies on the shoulders here of Lunny.
Give me something. Lands a body. Spots another player. Can't hit the body, but needs to get in the hill. They're able to do so. The last two players of NaVi, their elbow side of the
Stay
map.
alive.
There's tons of players around. It's a 2v1 situation, and Lunny does just that. He stays alive. Glory able to make his 32nd kill of the game. One of the most impactful, as Lunny lands 2 body shots on the member spawning house, trying to deny some of the hill, going into Blackhand's favor. So now all of a sudden that time, maybe less important. Lunny doing all the work with the body shots to keep his team in this, but somehow it's a one-on-one EbbY versus zMightys, and that could be for the game there. He hops into the hill, grenades come through from the respawners of NaVi, and now with 14 seconds left, Blackhand has to figure out a way to fight out a big door, and this is a tough fight to win.
They've got 9 seconds. They're deciding to go pillars here, and
Oh
you've
my
got
God.
to absolutely bolt
They don't
it.
have time.
But they've been spotted out. 4 seconds left. Can anyone dip their toes in that hill? 1-0,
Oh
and
my
you don't
God.
get there in time. NaVi close out game number 3 and find themselves 2-1 up in this series. What could have been an absolutely poor performance was very, very successfully recovered by them.
A misjudgment of time at the end from Blackhand. They'll be kicking themselves once again. And look how close these games are, Dan. Game 2, 50-48. Blackhand thought that the comeback was going to be real. And then again in Game 3, everybody choosing to overextend, everybody choosing to try and relocate there. You need somebody coming out a big door once everyone's distracted on the side of NaVi to just get in the hill, even if it's for a second. That second buys enough time for the rest of the boys to show up.
And I was asking, who do I think is that leader? Who's going to be taking this team by the reins? I saw the comms afterwards, Lunny firmly talking to his teammates. He knows full well they had that game. They had the chance to get back into it, and he's still letting them know now.
Yeah.
He's saying, we could have done this, we should have done that. Next time we need to do this, and that's fine. You need to learn these lessons. It's pool play. But you now need to pick yourselves up and try and gain a little bit going into this game number 4. You don't want to throw this series away just off the back of being frustrated from a game that perhaps you could have taken to some sort of overtime.
It's tough too. If you look back throughout the history of Halos, when you're an underdog trying to create the upset, you need to figure out ways to win the close games, and that's something that Blackhand has now let slip twice through their hands. It's going to be one of those moments where you're at dinner and you said, we could have, should have, but we didn't. And right now, Blackhand with one more opportunity to change that narrative before they have a very upsetting time trying to face reality of the biggest upset of their careers was moments away. A couple of shots, a couple of lives thrown, and we'd be talking about a completely different tournament.
That player on your screen, Kimbo, though, he had a game.
Big game.
He was really performing lights out. A couple of individual fights that were absolutely massive. EbbY probably thought he'd won the game, but look at the spawn from Foxy.
Yeah.
Spawns on dirt, gets perfect nades. On the other side, Blackhand spawn over towards garage, and no one able to push out of that garage door. And now NaVi find themselves 2-1 up going into Recharge Oddball. And NaVi, they did beat Blackhand in Recharge Oddball 2-1 just last week when they scrimmed, so things starting to look a little bit better with this series layout now. I think NaVi have got through arguably their 2 worst game types, and they've been able to get 2 victories.
It's off the back of this overshield control for me. If you look at Game 2, NaVi dictated the overshield control primarily through the beginning of the match. They were able to build that significant 11-kill, 12-kill lead at one point. They started to give those away, and with that, they gave the lead away. What happened in Game 3, Dan? They gave the first 2 overshields away. They find themselves down 2-0. Somehow, some way, they continued to clutch up when those overshields were coming up. They got the slays they needed. Jimbo sneaking away a couple of times to be able to secure those. And with those overshields, it just gives you so much more opportunity, so much more power. Your ability to tank damage, your ability to just create space for your team. Camouflage is the name of the game on Recharge. We'll see if who's able to dictate the power up story here as we hop into Game 4.
Well, is it going to be Wonderboy or is it going to be Turk? The 2 coaches behind both of these teams with that responsibility of ensuring the team knows when that camouflage is going to be popping. And of course, yes, there's going to be a timer, but you do need a firm reminder when you are locked in and you're playing against a team who's battling for it. Kimbo goes very quickly to try and grab it, and unfortunately not successful.
It's the super slide. Unfortunately, it's predicted. And he's caught out in the open from Blackhand. They are able to get a few slays early on, and this battle here, bottom control could be a big one, and unfortunately Glory just doesn't have the ammo to try and compete, and that's allowed Jimbo to help his teammate out. Jimbo finds a double, and you're already seeing the ball prioritization from NaVi. They want to be very efficient with their kills.
And NaVi really have stepped up their recharge game. Ever since they made that change, Respectful gets replaced by zMightys. They've looked like a different squad on this map, but 3 are dead at the moment. And Blackhand may be able to get some ball time because of this. They're going to get the first real attempt at a setup, but Jimbo can really disrupt it.
Yeah, are they going to expect Jimbo to be this advanced on the map? You see EbbY, he has no idea. Now he should be getting a comm that someone's behind him. Kimbo, 2 Foxy, they're the ones that find the kills. Jimbo finds the 3rd, and now all of a sudden EbbY left alone by himself. He's going to be surrounded. 2 Foxy does a great job to get a clean wipe of the Blackhand members. That was an opportunity Blackhand's going to regret.
And even though flanks are difficult, when you pull them off, they can be so successful in a way that it just pans out like that. Jimbo was behind enemy lines, was able to do damage, and it was a collapse that was so comfortable and easy for NaVi in the end. And now they find themselves with a 10-point lead. And Kimbo is in a position where he can really command bottom middle here, but he's kind of lost. He's lost all the players here.
He had such a good position until he dropped off the bridge. It allowed Blackhand to kind of get an opportunity to not only have high ground, but it caught Kimbo out of the loop. And although Kimbo had a phenomenal game 3, game 4 not the hottest start for NaVi, and although they do have that 24-11 lead, Blackhand are doing a phenomenal job of leading the game so far in Slays. But that objective is something that we might need to see more out of if they want to have success against this NaVi roster.
And Lunny letting zMightys know after he out-BR'd him in that situation. zMightys still without a kill. And that could be a very firm tactic here from Blackhand. Start to try and get into the heads of NaVi, especially zMightys, the newest player on their roster for sure. Glory's got the shock rifle. Lunny has the ball. This is a good chance for Blackhand to set up.
How long can they keep this setup? Because the last time it was broken immediately. Kimbo, he's spotted out on the blue box. He's taken down. And when your ball carrier is able to get a kill, that's usually a great sign for your opportunity to hold the setup. They're able to get Sword as well. So now all of a sudden, Sword on this side of the map, it's going to be a very difficult break from NaVi.
Great grenades, though, from 2 Foxy. Here comes zMightys again. Kind of carelessly walking in through Turbine, it has to be said. Finds himself at 0 and 5 now. And if Blackhand can keep taking advantage of that aggression, if they can keep spotting him out, then they certainly will enjoy a good period of time here.
This round 1's going to start to get out of hand if NaVi don't get a few kills quickly. The ball, it's being rotated to control. The pipe spawns were recognized by Blackhand, and they perfectly rotated it. They catch out Jimbo on the flank this time around, so they're going to be able to hold this setup with numbers still. Mysta doing a phenomenal job keeping his head on a swivel, expecting NaVi to be in their locations. The ball, it's not going to be played. You have to think NaVi had an opportunity there to play it. They don't do it. And are they going to regret that one? Because the last 2 members alive for NaVi are surrounded by Blackhand. They're taken down here shortly. And this ball in the back of blue is just going to continue Blackhand's opportunity to jump out to an early lead here.
Great communication as well from Blackhand to ensure Jimbo's not getting away. They're not allowing one-shots to escape at this point, and that is going to put them in such good stead to pick up a good amount of time because it's constantly resetting those spawns. And NaVi now firmly on the back foot here, down by almost 40 points, now definitely 40 points. And the sword in the hand here for Blackhand. They can really just command control, and anyone that comes will get sliced up.
Good trade from Mysta with the setup. It is broken, the ball, it is played. So NaVi finally get rid of what was Blackhand's 68-point run. Now down by 40. EbbY doing a great job to extend that potentially with the grapple. In this case, I just want you to hold on to it, EbbY. Get some information for your team and extend this lead. It's so difficult to try and build a comeback here. Players from the pipes area of the map is not something the Blackhand players expected, and somehow, some way, NaVi continue to find ways through some of these setups, especially the pipes ones. Blackhand maybe not as strong on this side of the map, and that could be exactly what NaVi need.
NaVi trying to rotate that ball over towards blue. EbbY's going to be the first person to try and stop it, but Mighty's the first point of defense as well.
A big couple kills.
And they need it. NaVi need a breakthrough here. Nice play from Mighty's to get that ball away with the grapple. That's not an easy grapple to hit.
Oh, not at all. The precision, the young gun showing you. He's got micro mechanics, but the macro is something NaVi need to focus on here. It's a 1v1. Mysta getting the better of him as he had the positioning the first couple of shots. And that should have been a NaVi setup that was pretty successful there with the shock rifle in Mighty's hands. Unfortunately, they don't expect the long haul push. And this is a lack of information that NaVi are really starting to struggle with.
Kimbo has got the entry though, so this is now a definite push here from NaVi. It's going to have to be a play. Oh, EbbY can actually play the sword. I like the attempt. But maybe next time he'll be able to just have that little bit of extra time. But only 10 points needed now for Blackhand to take this round 1.
Yeah, that's the issue, Dan, is 10 points is very easily to scrap along the way. NaVi not showing us yet that they can hold a real setup. Kimbo doing some work with the repulsor and some frags here, and Pipes, the 1v2 was needed from Kimbo. He was so close, but you see Lunny doing some body disrespect, and maybe not the best time because he was the last guy alive. All of BLVK get put on respawn, and now NaVi with the first real pipe setup opportunity. They're gonna run it towards the elevator, and we'll see how strong NaVi's setups are with Zmitys on the squad.
Camouflage is popping. You got to be careful when you start to drill shots into your opponent's bodies when they are on the floor, because suddenly if they come back into the game, boy, are they going to let you know about it. But as you say, only 10 seconds required for BLVK, so they are in a good position, but this can very easily slip away if they're not careful. If they start running aimlessly into fights, if they're not pushing together, NaVi may be able to just shut them down consistently.
A couple of kills go in BLVK's favor as one's traded back. It's a 2v2 situation, and it's a brawl in Pipes. It's a triple kill from Kimbo that keeps his team potentially in this one, but an elevator spawn for BLVK is a favorable one, but they're going to be sandwiched here. Only 3 points awarded to that ball carrier, and now an elevator set up for NaVi as Zmitys looks to be aggressive. He's got sword in his back pocket. Let's see if he chooses to use it.
Are BLVK going to panic now? They tried to escape with that ball. They didn't succeed. Glory gets the opener. Mighty's still alive with the sword, though, somehow. Otherwise, that could have been so detrimental there for NaVi, but BLVK are doing very well to try and push, and that is so important.
Glory with the double. Somehow Zmitys doesn't predict the catwalk push, and that could be a costly death. 7 points all NaVi can allow here. And BLVK, they've got the ball, they've got the slays. They're gonna turn the corner, and Mysta, he's gonna put an end to the first round of game 4. He's gonna put it in BLVK's favor. And if you wanna see a game 5, you want BLVK to figure out a way to close this one out. And NaVi, you know they want nothing to do with this going to a team slayer.
So opposite spawns now, different starting strategies for both of these teams. Mysta gets the opener, it's a nice response, but NaVi find themselves 3 dead, and suddenly BLVK could have this camouflage. Mighty's trying to fight to stay alive, but isn't able to do so. BLVK not able to get any ball time though, so both teams here, Wes, are gonna have to reset and reassess how they want to actually break through. This first kill after these both 4 teams are up is going to be a big one.
Camo not too influential so far throughout this game, or at least in round 1. NaVi choosing to do a very quick push to Camo, and once again, it doesn't work out in their favor, but they've gotten the slays ever since. 3 down for BLVK, and the ball in 2Foxy's hands in the pipe situation. He's gonna bring it over towards the elevator. We've seen this movie before. It's the next film that I wanna see improve. It's the setup. How long can they hold it?
Well, NaVi did very well to come back into the King of the Hill game after they went 2-0 down. They find themselves 1-0 down on ball, and boy, do they need a comeback, because a game 5 is not going to be a fun place to be against a BLVK roster who will thrive in that environment, and I'm sure will be so confident as Zmitys goes down. 2 are dead for NaVi.
Just like that, NaVi in a favorable position. Somehow, some way, not able to get the slays. Jimbo does a good job to get a couple of kills, but unfortunately, Jimbo had to play the ball because you can't rely on yourself to just 1v2 players. And in the meantime, BLVK on the other side of the map, they've got that ball in the pipes.
Nice nade from Lunny to work out where the player was going to be jumping, but Foxy has done really well to at least get a good amount of time here. I think he's looked at how NaVi played that previous round. He said, I don't think any of us were prioritizing ball well enough. But because of that, do find themselves going down, and BLVK now get their first opportunity at a setup. And I tell you what, this shock rifle in Lunny's hand could make a big difference.
Watch the cross for me, he says. He gets the information, pulls out the BR. It's an easy kill for Lunny, and a good job by BLVK. That is textbook setup right here. Somebody watch my cross, I'll watch yours, and we'll capitalize on the damage done.
We'll look towards top gold now, but leaves himself a little bit too exposed in that doorway. Sometimes you want to just be behind that pillar so that you have that protection from the left-hand side of Cat, but a good amount of time was able to have by BLVK here, find themselves leading once more. And remember, if they win this round, we go to a game 5 in this series of Pool Play Day 1.
Yeah, NaVi trying to break this setup, but it's taken them quite a bit of time. Like you're saying, a 20-point lead just about for BLVK here in round 2, and looking to push this to a game 5. EbbY with the sword. It's been so influential so far throughout this series. Let's see what he's able to do with it. Zmitys, he gets caught. He gets taken down. A grenade from EbbY, finds himself a double, and that's a phenomenal job by EbbY to trade some kills back into BLVK's advantage.
It's Glory versus Zmitys. 2 of the young guns going at 1v1 once more, but Glory going to have to back down. And he probably knows there's a sword around this corner, so you have to be careful.
He's got to know there's a sword somewhere in here. There's a combo as well, and the sword, it doesn't even matter because Kimbo's quick with the combo, with the battle rifle as well. And now Mighty's trying to allow his team to get some ball time. That's a big double from him. 3 dead for Blackhand. And although NaVi lose 2, they should be able to get some time. But in the same exact sequence, the ball resets, and it makes it even more difficult for NaVi to catch back up.
Mighty's still alive with this sword, though. Doing very well to navigate himself through the corridors, staying alive, and then actually slicing and dicing. But he is the only remaining player. So even though he's been able to stay alive, he was playing away from the rest of the team. They've all fallen. And now Mysta pushing in to perhaps try and put an end to this sword spree.
Yeah, Mysta getting the big kill on the Mighty's. The sword once again transfers hands. And somehow, again, Dan, it's a broken record at this point. NaVi get a setup. It folds like some dominoes. And I'm not talking about the pizza. I'm talking about the board game.
Other pizzas are available. Definitely here in Spain. I mean, we had a kebab and pizza shop that was unreal. They ordered about 15 pizzas. But anyway, NaVi do find themselves down by about 6 points. Mysta able to do a little bit of damage with the sword, but 2 are dead on Blackhand, 3 are dead on NaVi, so this is going to have to be a play. And that's a good heads-up position from NaVi.
Yeah, that's the difference, though, is Blackhand just in such a good position to not only play the ball, but they get the trades. They are allowed to deny NaVi any opportunity to grab that play ball, and they're able to compete for it. Unlike the story that we saw when NaVi was forced to play, it was already in Blackhand's hands before they were able to do anything about it. Now you're seeing the battle for pipes. If it's won by either team, it's typically going to result in some ball control as well. But right now, the battle continues. Kills being traded. Mighty finds one, immediately goes for that ball. And if he can turn the corner, maybe he can help his team get back into this one. Only down 2 seconds, so a good job of NaVi to get back into round 2 at least. But a realistic setup is going to be needed to close the door on this second round.
Jimbo on the flank again is finding himself at top glass, but he's caught out, he's spotted out, he's done a little bit of damage, but can we see Glory do something with the plasma pistol? No, not on this occasion, but Blackhand do gather a little bit of time just to extend that lead by a very few points. But this is so scrappy, Wes. I mean, 2 down on one side, 2 down on the other. We've seen so many 2v2s and 3v3s. Very rarely have we seen all 4 dead.
Great job to reset the ball towards that battery's location. Kimbo tried to catch it, couldn't do it, and because of it, NaVi denied positioning with the oddball, and it's going to make 2 Foxy's jobs so difficult. They've got to reslay in order to try and acquire some position. And Lunny somehow behind enemy lines already, able to find a kill. It was a player towards pipes. I'm sorry, I believe it was Glory. And as he was able to pick up that kill, what should have been some NaVi ball time is immediately denied.
2 are dead though for Blackhand. And NaVi once more can try and get this ball to a position. Mighty's may not realize he's running towards an enemy, but yes, he does. Okay, there was a teammate to clean up, so that's perfectly executed. If you can kill a spawner as you're running towards it, then that is going to be perfectly played.
This is it. NaVi with the full setup at elevators. Camo is up. Lunny leaves the camo behind, but he gets spotted by Jimbo on the cross. Actually doubles back. Jimbo tries to focus onto someone else, and because of it, Lunny able to get a free kill onto a player that knocked him down to no shield, but it does look like 2 Foxy has been able to acquire camo. It's traded out, though, and NaVi, they're forced to drop the ball here in a tough position and control. Grenades are so strong, and that's a great job to get some great grenade damage, but it's not enough. NaVi don't get the sways, and now Lunny trying to turn the corner with this ball to get Blackhand to bleed back in their favor. He gets it to elevator, but he's taken down as he tries to enter the door, and NaVi have to push quickly.
And 35 seconds left on that clock. You want a setup over towards blue in these moments, but all 4 dead for Blackhand. NaVi get control of the ball. They'll try and get it back to elevator, but nades from Lunny makes the ball very weak, but Jimbo just about gets away, and NaVi now can start to put a gap between themselves and Blackhand.
We're going to start calling them Lunny nades because that nade knocked 2 players very weak. Unfortunately, Lunny not able to take down Mighty's, and because Mighty's got that kill, it allowed Jimbo to escape with the ball. He's gotten it all the way to pipes, and now Blackhand forced to play their hand here. They're going to have to be aggressive, almost reluctantly at this time. 88 points, and the ball continuing to rotate over towards blue, and this is a beautiful rotation for NaVi to stay in this one.
And Kimbo just tosses it bottom middle. He says you're going to have to work for this ball, and then I'll make you work for the kill at the same time.
The double.
But does manage to pick up a kill, does not get the stick. Mysta gets the ball. It's a blue setup for Blackhand, but off the spawn, NaVi are doing the damage. Jimbo goes down, 64 to 88. Blackhand have to win this engagement.
Mysta's trying to stay alive here. He's weak. Nades are coming through. None of them find home, and all of a sudden, Blackhand They're able to get the ball. There's 3 seconds on the clock. They have 20 seconds they need to acquire an EbbY. He's gone down. zMightys gets the kills. zMightys gets the kills. They're going to take this round, push this to a round 3. And just like every game in this series, this one's going the distance.
I mean, you look at the stats, you look at the kills. This is so close between these two teams, but it's crunch time now here in round 3. Are we going to see Blackhand throw another game away, or are we going to see them clutch up here? EbbY gets a double to start things off. NaVi do reply, though, with a kill of their own, and the early stages do favor Blackhand ever so slightly.
A little bit different of a push from NaVi, but it still doesn't work out. It favors Blackhand. In the meantime, trying to figure out what happened with Camo. I believe zFoxy's going to be trying to look for it, but I mean, the ball, it's already in pipes. Blackhand do such a good job to sniff that one out, to get it into pipes safely, and this is going to be an early lead for Blackhand for now.
Big moment for Foxy. Can he clean this one up?
Please.
Glory just about... Glory gets a trade, because Foxy just not able to find that headshot, unfortunately. Too many corners for him to navigate, and now he's going to play Ring Around the Roses with Lunny, and does lose it. But I will say, honestly, this is just going to come down to who's winning their battles, I feel, at this point. This has been such a scrappy game throughout all of these rounds that if you are losing your 1v1s, then you're going to put your team at such a detriment.
I don't know why Jimbo felt the need to try and run that towards the glass situation. That's exactly where the Blackhand push was coming from. He loses his life, and what was once again a NaVi pipe setup is immediately broken with 0 kills going in their favor, and Blackhand able to acquire this ball. You want to see him held on to it because you're in such a good position to just build up a lead. Every second we have learned in this series will matter.
Well, EbbY's saying, look, I've got the shock rifle. Someone please take this. He tosses it across, but again, that could have been more time secured here by Blackhand. You've got to hit a shot after tossing it. Does not do so. NaVi take down 2, but 2 respond. And it's a 2 versus 2. Big fight's going down right now, Wes.
EbbY punished for his positioning there. Let's see what NaVi can do to capitalize on that. Somehow they're not able to get multiple kills going in their favor. A touch on the ball, maybe not what zFoxy wanted, as 2 players were pushing him from that long haul position. Does look like Blackhand are able to trade this out successfully. The ball is in a tough spot, though. It does get played by zFoxy, so maybe that was the brilliance behind the play. It's denied Blackhand from being able to acquire any of the ball time as of yet, but the camo going in their favor and a couple of kills as well means that Blackhand will once again have that blue setup and have an opportunity to play it when NaVi decide to break it.
Still not seen that camouflage play a massive part in any push. It's been burnt pretty quickly by both teams. They've both done well to be on top of it, to make sure they're fighting for it. But NaVi have all 4 up. Blackhand only have 3 at the moment, so this is a big push for NaVi. If Blackhand don't play it, they can find themselves very much struggling.
zFoxy once again struggling to finish these one-shots, and because of it, forced a trade. A massive kill from EbbY, a massive kill from Glory. He lets them hear about it. Kimbo, he's sent to respawn, and that's going to award not only Glory another kill to the speed, but some ball time as well. Look at him. Doesn't want the ball time yet. He wants more.
Glory starting to feel himself. He says, I love a triple! As he lets them know once more, it's a killing spree. It's ball time. It's Blackhand showing what they're made of.
It's the young gun from Ireland, Glory, with 37, 49 seconds of ball time, make it 38. And some more ball time acquired. You can't play better objective than what he's doing now.
He is going to be making NaVi scratch their heads, wondering how on earth they're going to break this setup. But eventually, he throws that ball off the map. He says, I'm not going to trust my individual ability anymore. And he does get shut down eventually. But I tell you what a hold that was from Glory to give themselves a 42-point lead.
4 dead for Blackhand. NaVi able to get the Slays off that play ball. Last player alive is going to be spawning towards top glass. If they're able to get this kill, then that would be a big one for another potential setup. I feel like it might not mean anything, though, the way these setups have been for NaVi.
Oh,
and
wow.
You missed the shot. An over challenge from Jimbo. The player's turn. That's 2 of them. And Blackhand's teamwork just so strong throughout this series. 3 dead once again for NaVi. And how many times, Dan, how many times does it look like they have opportunity and it's just wasted away?
NaVi are struggling, and I think they know it. Kimbo is the last remaining player. He got hunted down by Blackhand. They've got a blue setup once more, and they've got camouflage. Mysta, a lot of responsibility for him here.
The ball does get played. Mysta trying to hunt down these kills. The repulsor's gonna knock him off the map, and Jimbo getting a little bit of revenge. That camo should have acquired at least 2 kills there, you have to think, but Jimbo doing a phenomenal job. Kimbo, shock rifle in hand. You talk about how great this player is with the sniper rifle. He's already found 2. The ball, it's being picked up, and if Kimbo can pick up just one more kill, it would create so much space for his team. But his teammate's gonna force him to pick up the ball for now, and we'll see if this is a different story this time around. NaVi with a couple of numbers in their advantage here, able to turn it to 3, and they want to block these elevator spawns quickly.
It's a good push from NaVi. They get aggressive on the elevator, as you say. They're able to take down 2. Could have been 3, will be a 3rd. Mysta falls. And all the meanwhile, ball time is being gathered. There's one thing I will say is NaVi, when they do get into a position, when they start to gather time, they do scrape that time through. They do hold that ball close to their chest. But I tell you what, that's a little bit of a steal from Lunny, but I don't think it's going to get played.
Yeah, Lunny was actually the last guy alive. The fact that he's able to just take down the ball carrier is massive. It's allowed Mysta to do the same, and now all of a sudden, BlackHand able to get the setup, able to break some opportunity for NaVi once again. 60 to 34 now, BlackHand up heavily.
Up heavily, have the ball. zMightys, though, has a shock rifle. He knows someone's nearby. You can hear the little trickles of the footsteps. Camo is going to be popping. There's the shots that you need to be hitting if you're zMightys. But all the meanwhile, ball is still being scored by BlackHand, and they get the kill. Now it's a 2 versus 2.
40 points and counting, 80 to 34, make it closer to 50 now. BlackHand's lead here to push this to a game 5. Kimbo, he's able to get camo. He's able to find the first kill on the Lunny, but a great grenade once again from Glory is able to take him down. And NaVi aren't able to do anything with that camo again.
44 kills for Glory. Tell you what, make it 45, and he's still screaming, he's still firing, and he is on top of the world right now. 88 points, make it 90. BlackHand so close to taking us to a game 5.
Take us home, Glory. Take us to a game 5. Unfortunately, he eats the stick. He's able to at least get the kill. They want to play the ball, but EbbY, he's not in a position because the grenades are so strong from Jimbo. He's able to get the kill. 3 were dead for BlackHand, and because finally BlackHand not able to play the ball, maybe there's a sign of life here for NaVi, 96 to 34.
Jimbo has just made the play of the century, pushed in as the last remaining player, gets 2 kills, and now keeps this game alive for NaVi. It's not yet done for BlackHand. This is when we sometimes see teams crumble, when they're so close, but that's an opening. EbbY gets the first, and now they need to work out. Now they need to push together.
Jimbo, you've done a lot of great things. Can you give us one now? No, he gets traded out. Another trade is going to benefit BlackHand. They only need 4 seconds. Glory going to try to get one of those seconds in their favor. He's immediately taken down, but Dan, you got to talk about the clock. 27 seconds and counting as that ball is neutralized. All of BlackHand's going to be in a mosh pit bottom middle. They want the game 5. They can smell the game 5. Can they get there?
3 are dead, 4 are dead for NaVi, and BlackHand, it's as simple as pick that ball up, count to 3, and you're going to a game 5.
An unbelievable series so far. BlackHand do it. They push this one the distance. And now it's time for the 2 best words in esports. It's going to be a game 5 here in pool play. And we knew this series was going to be a good one, Dan, but I had no idea BlackHand was going to deliver this well.
I think when I looked at the whole schedule for today, I was seeing 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and I saw this, and I was thinking, I tell you what, if BlackHand come to play, we could be going the distance, and they have shown up today. They've shown what they're made of. You heard Lunny, or you saw Lunny mouth it after game 1. We can do this. They believe they can beat NaVi. And granted, it's just pool play, some might say, but what a statement this could be from BlackHand if they were to win this series. They could put themselves on top of this group, effectively steal NaVi's seed, and give themselves a better chance in that bracket. But there's still a lot to do. There is still an entire Slayer game to play just yet.
I want to talk about a couple of factors I'm just witnessing as we take a look at the players here. It's 2 completely different energies, Dan, on both sides of the stage, even throughout this entire series. NaVi, they're sweating. They're scratching their heads. They're wondering how did it get to this point. On the other side, you're seeing momentum, you're seeing energy, you're seeing hope, you're seeing drive. The want to create the upset. Guys that have never been there, done that, they're trying to get there. They're trying to do that. And all they need is 50 kills in order to create the biggest upset of these guys' career, especially in a LAN environment. What a better time to do it than the first major in Halo Infinite. Wow.
And that's why sometimes you're in the advantage as the underdog. When you look at the pressure that's on NaVi, the pressure that's on zMightys in particular, and how much the desk, how much we talk about him, whereas on the other side for Glory, even though we also highlighted him before the tournament, he doesn't have that same pressure. Those expectations aren't necessarily there, but boy, Is he performing well? Over 45, 46 kills there was there. I mean, Glory had the game of his life, and boy, did Blackhand need it. They find themselves all tied up. And I've got a fun fact for you. The last time these two guys played in a competitive game on Slayer Livefire, it was 50-49 in favor of NaVi. So if it's going to be anything like that, then we are in for an absolute slobber knocker.
An absolute slobber knocker. As these guys, game 5, man, let me tell you, the adrenaline's going. Take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen, especially the 8 on the stage with the controllers in their hands. They need to stay calm, stay patient. We talk about veterans. We talk about the players that have so much history. Do you think it benefits the side of NaVi going into this one, or off that game 4 win, Dan, do you think Blackhand are going to have the leverage?
It really does come down to individual players and how they respond to these situations, because some players crumble, some players excel. Momentum definitely behind Blackhand, but as you say, it could be that situation that now you're so close, you almost get a little bit too eager. And suddenly you fall, you crumble. We need to see Blackhand play exactly the same aggressive nature they just played in Game 4.
Give me Blackhand all day, every day. I've seen the underdog story. I lived it. Let's see if Glory and the boys can put this one together. They're able to find the first because of Glory. It's traded out, but they are going to have snipe. They're going to have positioning for overshield as well, as you're seeing prioritization towards green from NaVi. The flanking gets sniffed out from Lunny. Unfortunately, the player front tower and zMightys does a good job, but it's EbbY with the snipe. He finds the body, he finds the head. And like a boxing match this series has been, overshield surely goes in the hands of Blackhand early on.
How does this man still look so relaxed in a Game 5? 4-4, make it 4-5. It's a big double from zMightys. EbbY has to hit these shots. He has to try and connect, but he eventually just gives up and gives away the overshield. So NaVi win that initial overshield battle.
I have no idea how Blackhand aren't in a position to compete for that a little bit better. EbbY can't quite hit some of these shots, and let's see if he pays his life. A great job to sniff out the flank. A better job to relocate. He spots the overshield, so not only that, gets great information onto where that player is. That player's actually going to slow it down, and these plasma nades are money.
Wow.
Absolutely damaging on the side of NaVi. That overshield, it's wasted, and once again, it's EbbY with the power weapons in hand to create such a difference and opportunity for this team to take this 10-8 early lead.
EbbY now needs just to look over towards green and scout over towards the sandbags as well. Needs a battle rifle to back up this heat wave after he runs out, but the assault rifle, I guess, is a fantastic second choice. Blackhand have lost a couple of players here, but they are keeping it scrappy. 11-10, it slows down ever so slightly as NaVi look to try and find a path to try and break down this setup.
EbbY's going to expect NaVi to try and be aggressive. He gets some sound audio cues. Players are pushing below, and there's 3 of them spotted out. They get flanked by the heat wave. It's doing so much damage. And look at that, EbbY. Not a death to his name so far. A 4-kill lead, make it 3 for Blackhand.
And EbbY has been navigating the bottom of this map so successfully. Now just going to position himself over towards Garage so he can keep an eye on that overshield. And now he can also take fights over towards Nest as well. This whole passage of play from EbbY has been absolutely fantastic. From the sniper control, then to the plasma nades, then to picking up this heat wave and where he's been moving. It's a 7-kill lead for Blackhand here in Game 5.
No lead is safe, as we learned in Game 2, but you have to think this is going to benefit Blackhand as they acquire the overshield. It was NaVi with the first. That overshield was wasted away. This overshield is getting put to work. Lunny finds a kill. Unfortunately, the re-chow is not something the doctor ordered, and because of it, Mighty predicts it. He's able to get that kill, trade a couple of damage out, but still, 5 kills separate the two, and Blackhand feel like they have momentum in their favor so far.
Mighty's just trying to stay alive, does have support from his teammate at Dirt, also has, well, he did have the repulsor, does have 1 left to use, but unfortunately it's a dud. But now he can just try and react to what his teammates are giving him in terms of information. You're in a fantastic position to flank here, and that is a good amount of damage, and now you need the teammates to do exactly what you've just done.
Lunny nades, you gotta coin them. The phrase, they've been true all series long. They're able to find the kill, and because of that, Blackhand finds some opening, but Jimbo, that wasn't Jimbo, he was scratching his head, that was Kimbo. Finds a double with the snipe, continuing to have success with the precision weapons. Let's see what zMightys can do. He's caught off guard. Can't hit the no-scope, pays for it with his life. And now Glory, with the weight of his worlds, on his shoulders, trying to be aggressive, trying to continue to pressure the respawns of NaVi. He gets caught out as well.
EbbY instead will pick up the sniper rifle. No one really been able to put it to massive use so far. No real spree that they've gone on. It's been trading hands quite a lot. But now you've got to hit your shots. Overshield coming up in 1 second. No bullets left. Need to now assist just with the battle rifle. And NaVi seem to be in the better position once more.
I believe the snipe was...
Oh,
no, he's got 2 bullets. Mysta finds a double. The battle for Overshield heavily goes in Blackhand's favor, but I don't believe they're able to activate it. And because of it, 2Foxy, somehow, some way, in a 4v2 situation, gets there, does that, finds 3 kills, and what looked like a blowout opportunity for Blackhand here in game 5. 2Foxy turns it right around, makes this one very interesting, 34-30.
Boy, did NaVi need that. Suddenly, they've got a chance to get back into this game. It's another double for Foxy, 36-33. They're still behind. Blackhand just need to take a breather here. They don't allow NaVi to get all these kills without an answer. Try and gather your thoughts, make sure you're playing together. Can't have these individual pushes happening too often.
This is such a tough spot for NaVi to try and be in. Elbow is not a place you want to be when they're respawning towards tower, because they've got grenades coming off respawn. They're easy, and you know how strong they've been with them throughout the series. But the collapse is going to come through. NaVi able to tie this one up all of a sudden, 37-37. And Jimbo, the veteran in the series, staying alive is the name of the game. They're able to take the lead for the first time.
A 1-kill advantage. Nerves now starting to kick in for Blackhand after having a considerable lead ahead of NaVi. And if that starts to dwindle away, if suddenly NaVi take a significant lead of their own, then suddenly Blackhand may begin to worry. But still, just a 1-kill game. A lot of pressure on these players, taking a fight towards dummies. But Mysta has the heat wave, and he can certainly be a big factor in these next moments.
What does Jimbo decide to do here? So crucial. Mysta with the heat wave. We've seen how efficient Blackhand is with this. They're able to get that kill. Both Snipe and Overshield coming up in 10 seconds. EbbY trying to compete all by himself. It's the window spawns for NaVi. They're going to have a lot of pressure to deal with. Black can't get caught off. They don't expect him to be there. Mysta, he gets taken down. All of a sudden, 3 dead for Blackhand. And another Overshield in the hands of 2Foxy. Could exactly be what NaVi need.
Glory just has to dip out. He cannot afford to fight it. He gives away the Overshield, 44-43. And I said this was going to be a close one. It was in Pro Series, and it is here in Valencia. This one's for all the marbles here in pool play.
How do you play this? 2Foxy checking his corners, being aggressive. You want your grenades, you got to find out where they are. Lunny's a little bit advanced with the snipe. He's caught out. That's the pick. That's the pick they need. Look at NaVi. They're here. 3 dead. 4 dead for Blackhand. NaVi put the Overshield to an execution now. 48-44.
48-44. And all they need is one more push like that. Kimbo's advancing. He's looking for the kills. It's 48-45. You got to be careful of these nades, though. If you miss the shots, it's 48-46.
Oh, my. 48-46. Blackhand come off spawn. They subside the pressure from NaVi. But Jimbo, behind enemy lines. Can he get the kill? He gets the repulsor on the 1. But it's not enough to finish it. There's a player, no shield. Kimbo, can you close it out? He gets the kill. And NaVi closed the door 50-47. They needed every bit of the experience they have to get the job done here against Blackhand, but they get the job done, and it's a heartbreaker. On the other side of the stage, Blackhand knows they had that one.
What a series we've just had on a Friday here in Valencia. Blackhand know full well they could have beaten NaVi. As for NaVi, it is just back to the office. It's another day where they should have got a victory, and they do get a victory. It was zMightys who popped off at the end, but the rest of the NaVi squad, they didn't look too happy about it. They know it shouldn't have been that close, but as long as you get the win, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-0, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-2, you've just got to be getting that W at the end of the day.